Been here a while. It's quiet today. Oh wait. What can we get into? A lot of times building is a lot of I told you so's examples. We build, we see it some other places. We see history repeating itself. We see a lot of stuff. Okay. My brother King Kamal. Do for self, peace. All right. I let people know I was coming here early, but it's still quiet here, you know. Just me and one of our elders, you know. So if anybody has any questions about anything, you know. Hey, appreciate that, guys. Yeah, yeah. This is old too. They don't. You know. I forget to wear it. I have a lot of camo. I forget to wear this. You know what I mean? It's got some writing on here. You know what's kind of ill is that the stitch. It's got like a little orange stitch here, orange stitch there too. You know, it's little add-ons that I like. You know what I mean? Uh, but absolutely, I look forward to that. Do for self. Yeah, definitely check with me. You know, I got the Substack. I wanna share more things, but I need to know that I'm being compensated. I share a lot of things. I still, you know, I didn't share it on social media, so not everybody knows. Peace, guy. Um, I've just been adding some reviews, but most the hundreds of reviews and analysis I do of music are coming out in the Real of 2023 book. So I can share some particular ones, and I share those on Premiere Hip Hop. Along with I'm going to start throwing, excuse me, throwing some of the pieces, some more informative stuff. That way people can catch up to Classic Stone Radio and everything like that on it as well. Thoughts and ideas. Those will be for the public. A lot of the hip hop writings, but I have writings and thoughts about a lot of stuff. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of a audio podcast, maybe 20 minutes, half hour, and I'll be throwing those up on the Substack too. So the Substack is where you subscribe and get some real nice things. Um, this weekend, maybe tomorrow, write it. You know, I'll start writing on my martial arts column, Biang Zing Week. You know, like my whole week of training and the thoughts and ideas I have in training. You know, so it'll cover everything. But you got to subscribe for that. You can't. The free subscription is not really going to get you anything to read, you know, and certainly not listen to the podcast. But if brothers are in the New York City area, it is now warm enough where I would think people could try out what I'm sharing now. You know what I'm saying? Um, It'll be of some use to them, you know. And you could email me, DM me, whatever about rates or whatever like that. You know what I mean? My rates are great. You know what I'm saying? Um, but that's all depending. You know, if enough people don't sign up, then you know the few that do, you know, they get some exclusive shit. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, yeah. And today, you know, like today, I'm gonna keep it real. I got a lot to share, but I also want to get everybody's questions. I always Like to take my time to put everything on. You know what I'm saying? Um, if I take the time to do all that, because I'm honestly, God, I made some of your questions out of order, but about the podcast on Spotify, um, that takes a little extra work only because this is the Power Right Show. It's going to be the Power Right Show podcast. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the one on Substack might be a little different. Maybe I might call it something different because it won't just be about music. Um, it could be about anything, but mainly about music and stuff. May not be just about hip hop. I just kind of see everything all the same. You know what I'm saying? Like when I listen to other types of genres, I don't see them differently than hip hop. You know, but if it's not like a pain in the ass, like I'm trying to put content that's gonna pay. I put stuff on Spotify. People then stream a lot of the content I'm sharing for free, and that's the whole thing, God. Um, there's so much things I'm giving out for free. You know what I'm saying? And like, right? People can stream our album, right, God? And the direct purchase sales, they plummet. You know what I'm saying? They plummet. That's real word is bond. You know what I mean? People will love it, but they got other things they got to get and everything like that. So they start, using the stream only. You know what I'm saying? But and either way, I don't know if the stream will be worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? But with the podcast, no, I'm still have my podcast on. Where is it? I haven't done it in so long, but it's been with these brothers out in a big channel on YouTube. Um, Let me see if I get the name. Can't believe I forget. It's really been that long. Last year I really didn't. I only did like 2 or 3 shows. You know. Again, I put my hand in a lot of pots and everything like that. And the problem was when I did the first, let's say 900 shows of my Power Right show were very. I mean, they were done to the highest quality. No one has a set of shows that good or a set of interviews that quality of the era. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it up against anybody's work, and they know that. You know what I'm saying? Even the brothers I respect and everything like that. Nobody has the research and the builds, but that was nearly done for free and establishing other people's media forms that really deserved it, but it really wasn't putting money into for me. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta get that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, we gotta have the Badu. The Badu. I always gotta have the incense. I'm gonna talk about the incense for a minute though later. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a reason why I always have to have incense burning here and shit like that. And it's not because the school is funky and disgusting. It's not. That's actually not it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that people could see the fumes or whatever, because I don't smoke. So if you see fumes, it's incense. You know. But yeah, that's why I'm not putting the podcast in that. The podcast that I will put on the Substack will be just like musings and shit like that. Because if I could write it ill, I'm gonna write it ill. But just some builds about things, loose builds, maybe things people could carry with them, use. But that's gonna be. I think I'll name that something different than the Power Right Show, because it won't just be about hip hop, and people know the Power Right Show is a hip hop show. Again, a lot of stuff I delve into, so I'm just trying to. That's Peace do for self. You ordered my books on Amazon, or because I think every single book that has been ordered from directly is on its way. So King, you said, what are your thoughts of Timberland wanting? Okay, let's stop there. I'm gonna stop with Timberland. What are your thoughts of Timberland? I'll stop right there. I've never seen I can't think of a more overrated producer than Timbaland, where all he did though is create dissonance with the drum. He did basically what Jay Dilla does. I didn't say he did Jay Dilla, but what Jay Dilla does, the drums are hitting at an off sequence, so you concentrate on it more. I used to hate it. I hated it. I hated it. I absolutely hate that idea in R&B. And a lot of Aaliyah songs, though, I never could care for when they came out. You know what I'm saying? You appreciate more because that's all you have of Aaliyah. But and she has she had a very thin voice, but it was a very beautiful tone. So you know, it's just and it influenced R&B singers after. They all came with light tones. You know, you don't see any power singers anymore. That breach. And even the powerful singers don't sing powerfully. They sing differently to appease. Anyway, Timbaland, I always found his music to be too. It just felt synth to me, synthetic. I found it to be creative, but very synthetic. You know what I'm saying? I always found it to be R&B music, not rough enough to be hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be my New York years, but it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But that's my bias with Timbaland. But what Timbaland's saying, the little that I caught of him saying about AI and using dead artists, he better not use my fucking voice. I'm glad I'm not popular, right? That's all I'm saying, though. Being a stupid ass track of his, so you know. What's a Timbaland song that isn't Aaliyah? Like Dirt Off Your Shoulders or something? You know, circus tunes with off-kilter drums. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna people didn't want their music like that. They did what they could when they were alive, though. They didn't want their shit remixed. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that should be something that an artist writes in their will. You know, like, hey, when I'm done, you can AI my vocals and put it on and what you think I would say and put it together. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine somebody taking all of my writings and writing Sunez like essays. Oh man, that would really gross me out, man. Because they would find certain rules and repetition of text that I used, repetition of techniques, and then just straight beat up what I was doing. And then let's say they write something that people think is like, wow, that's really dope. It's Sunez like whatever like that, right? Let's say, right? I'd be upset anyway because somebody else out there is biting me. There's a robot out there biting me. That's all I would read. I wouldn't be reading anybody else. I wouldn't be reading something honoring me. I would be reading somebody biting me. The only people that could sound like me or do anything like me like that is my daughters. Like my daughters write, they could write like me. They could use techniques and have sentences and structures that are like me. I'm okay with that. You know, right? But yeah, no, it's total bullshit. The power that he has with AI, he should be thinking about and talking to artists and saying, listen, we need to copyright voices. We need to protect people's voices. You know what I'm saying? And these are all military devices, you know what I'm saying? For spy tech and shit like that. And and of course you throw it to our people and we're using it for the most buffoonery, you know? Like, yes, Biggie didn't have a lot of music though, but we know it sounds horrible, but he had very little else to say. Tupac had a lot to say, but he already said almost everything he could in the years that he had. So in the years that he had, everything he could say those years he was alive, he said everything he could. And the same with anybody else. Big Pun, he didn't get to say everything maybe he could. He was very intelligent. But everything that was worthwhile that he could say in those years he was alive, I'd like to think that he said it. You know what I'm saying? Rakim never drops another album. Never drops another album. He's already said everything worthwhile that he needed to say then. There's nothing left to be said. You know? I think it's just as heinous as like when you read books like Wakil and he'll use one letter from Firstborn Prince to describe Firstborn Prince's entire theology, ideology, pedagogy. It's a corruption of people's real ethos and mentalities. And it's all about input, what you input. And who's to say that the input, for example, would understand people like us that are 5%ers, that we have views that are contrary to society, and they are constantly misunderstood because they were so out of context with the world. I mean, that's our job. That's what our work is. Like, a lot of my work is to be creative, but a lot of my work is to explain creation. And a lot of times, part of the work of that we try to do as artists is to explain how we're creating. You know what I'm saying? That it's not enough to just create anymore and leave it abstract. Leave it to the discretion of the listener, the viewer. Those times may be done, and that's why we build like this. I could never get with that, but I don't know if it certainly is culture vulture in a totally new way, though. Okay, I definitely see that. Oh, that's Peace God. Yeah. Yeah. I should have ordered yours. Yours should have been ordered. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yours. I remember ordering that. Let me look. I have this thing open here. Oh no, it's the wrong thing. I gotta log out. It's the wrong thing. I mean, imagine getting a song though where the horn will be like Miles Davis. Peace. Yeah, God, that your book should be coming to you Wednesday. Yeah. All right. Self-elevation. Peace, Almighty Sunez. Drop the science. All right. Definitely have a good class tonight. Finishing up the 10:50. Okay. All right. Just Cypher's born. All right. That's peace, God. Yeah. Let me talk about this Baduism thing, incense. For me, the type of incense, certain smells of incense always remind me of when I was getting knowledge of self. I associate it heavily. It just gives me a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Also, I spent so many, years, months, and days building with Day Sun, all the time, going to the school and stuff. And Day Sun, he lives nearby the school, so um, he's obsessed. He would have he would fog up his whole apartment. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I couldn't even see him one time. I could have sworn I couldn't even see where he was. He had lit so much incense in the house, in the apartment. But I also like to be outside, out of like traditional workplaces, my own home with the rest of my family a lot of times, because um, most people's homes are polluted. They use too many chemicals. I have relatives that use too many chemicals, sprays, anything that leaks fragrance, like those gel packets, or, toxic, carcinogenic, um, household air sprays. All of that is toxic, absolutely 100% toxic. You know what I mean? You're getting fluorocarbons, all types of stuff in the air, and it's why people have so much more intense allergies, because they're dealing with, their body is fighting those toxins and can't really just you know be very well prepared for nature. You know what I'm saying? The increased pollen count, what have you. But indoor pollutants are a big deal with me. You know what I'm saying? And even at the school, you know what I'm saying? Like, look behind me. I mean, that's a bevy of cleaning products that are necessary. You know what I'm saying? But they're toxic. They're all toxic. You know what I'm saying? So I always like to have some kind of counter. You know what I'm saying? At least a vibe. You know. But that's the whole reason why I do stuff like that. Right? LT, you said peace, Sunez. Peace to the cipher. Here's some new music that I'm sure everyone in the cipher will appreciate. That's my artwork, and that's me rhyming. Lord Takim. Well, I don't see anything in here. I don't know where you put it. I mean, you probably have to put a link in the chat. I don't think you can put pictures or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But okay, I didn't know you made music. Love Islam. You said, what's today's mathematics? Hey, we're in the classroom. That's for you to answer to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a teacher here. I need you guys to answer that. Right? Do for self. Original man, right? You said, I hate the AI Biggie voice rapping the New York City Mind lyrics. You know what's funny? I listened to one podcast. By the way, I've been listening heavily to the Wiser Dome podcast on Spotify, because I finally have it on Spotify. That's from the God Rakim Shabazz. That's number one. But I like to go through Joe Rogan's podcast, because he does good interviews with, depending on the guest, And when he has these corny, grafted comedians and shit, I skip all of that stuff, and grafted folk that are doing things that I'm not interested in. But when he's with scientists, journalists, things like that, and he ended up talking about this with Michio Kaku, who's one of the great scientists, and he played it for him a little bit, and I had the thing going at like 3 times speed. Like, when I get to listening to podcasts, I can get them up to 3 times speed. I started like 2.5, and I just keep going up, so I could get a lot of information and quickly. So I didn't really get to hear it, and I really didn't want to hear it at all. I'd be cringe. You know what I'm saying? There's like, people don't know and respect artists when they do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really respect artists like that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't respect, like, when an artist covers another artist, though, that's his own interpretation and homage. And you have to let the artist decide when to homage someone else. And that was completely disrespectful. Like, we don't notice that much in hip hop unless you look deeper. Like, when Yasin Bey, Mos Def, when he spent like there was a whole like time where he was obsessed with doing MF Doom songs, and yet his interpretation of doing the MF Doom lyrics, because he has such a unique voice and timbre and tone, that it gave it like a fresh vibe, and it was a wonderful homage, because no matter how monotone Yasin Bey tries to rap, it always has much more melody than, let's say, that the original Doom lyric would. You know what I'm saying? So but it was done in homage, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, sometimes a artist won't homage, would never do someone else's song, not because they don't respect it, but because it doesn't fit their techniques or styles. You know what I'm saying? So it actually would be a disrespect to them. Just because you got it going with the voice doesn't mean that you got it to the actual pitch and projection the way he would actually think of rhyming that. Like it's disgusting, man. I'm 100% using the AI for anything. I think it has no use to anything. You know, I you know we talk about the technology that was used in hip hop to make hip hop. That technology was used because we couldn't make anything. We couldn't create a new, and we used that to create something fresh, new. We didn't just use it because we have instruments and we know how to play them. And you know what? Let's just use this. You know what I'm saying? Um, there's so much at the fingertips that people have to make music, to make things that I just I don't see any add-on in people doing a fake voice of someone else, and it's still fake. And look, they respect fake. Whew. Peace, Mr. Supreme. Oh man, making me cringe there. That would be crazy, right? They put me on a song or me doing his lyrics. Oh shit, I can't even read that, King. I can't even read it. I hear that though. Yeah, definitely into neck jumper. What else we have here? By the way, I talk about all of these new places, Substack, uh, teaching martial arts for pay, peace of the earth, harmony, equality, for a certain amount of pay, a fee, etc., whatever. Anything that people really want to learn from me, though, and you can always ask. You know what I'm saying? There would be nothing that someone really couldn't get and really needed and showed that the diligence to learn that I wouldn't share with them. For right now, today, it's just us online right now. So anybody that has any questions, any builds, give me, a build on today's mathematics. You know what I'm saying? All right, 793rd piece. But yeah, these I feel I don't feel this. I really see this. The concentration of AI artistry is not something that you're only seeing this with black music. You're not seeing this pumped with anything else. Other artists, and I don't think that's because, let's say, generally the white artists or artists of other genres are being protected. I think nobody is. But this focus on this is to make AI appealing to those who it will oppress the most. You know, and that's the problem. It's making it appealing to us. The possibilities out of anyone, it's our people that have to lament and have to deal with death every day, including the artists that we love. Like it's always around us. You know what I'm saying? And for me, sometimes it's difficult. Like I knew Sean P. You know what I'm saying? I knew Kevlar 7 was my brother. Like these are people that I knew, and to this day, I have trouble listening to their songs. I can only listen to a few. You know what I'm saying? At a time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one or two at a time. You know what I'm saying? Right? So, it becomes difficult. Mhm. But especially when you know them personally, like their stories, like you know what they were doing with the song. You know how they made it, though. You knew about the songs before anyone else ever did. we have to deal with this all the time, and like this idea of AI is like kind of giving like gifts. You know what I'm saying? And he likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is a lot of nothing. You know what's interesting, King? You said that you sung on some songs in the past. Do you feel that takes away from artists being MC? I had this argument with the guy Rio, and years ago, he might still feel the same way. And that was the reason he was negating and dropping Lauryn Hill down a couple of spots. And I find it wrong. I find it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think that a lot of people, for example, a lot of people diminish what I've done as an MC in this album by saying I'm some type of poet, or that like some of it was more like poetry. And it's very interesting because there's nothing that I did on the album that has a straight poetry tempo, a slower tempo, things that absolutely don't rhyme. There's right, God, like there's nothing on the album that I wrote that didn't rhyme, that doesn't have a clear bars. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it's probably 9,000 Miles that is the most loosely written, and that one has a verse structure, you know. And certain people, they'll dismiss it, and I understand it if it's from like MCs that are greater because they see that as an extra skill. Um, they also see that their flow, they flow on everything, but I do consider an MC someone who basically is controlling the microphone to express his thoughts. And if they can sing, if they can, have different cadences and tempos, you know what I'm saying? Then that's what it is, Like I sought to, King, this stuff. This is for everybody. I sought to respect MCing as the traditional form of MCing as much as I could. But what always won the day over was, does it, am I performing in such a way that makes the song mean what it should mean? And for that, there are different tempos, there are different stylings, there are different ways of speaking. And I wanted it was more important that it was all Sunez than me being into the character of an MC. And for that, it was MCs themselves that they have tempos and they have styles that they've been doing for years and years that see me in different categories. And I don't take it as disrespect, but I know technically that it's all in the realm of MCing. You know what I'm saying? So like when a Lauryn Hill sings or Yasin Bey, for example, like a lot of stuff is be hummed and hymned and stuff, and be like, that's not a rhyme, it's not this. And that's mic control, and that's moving the crowd. That's mastery of the gifts. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's just more versatility. You know what I'm saying? I don't have honed technical MC skills. I mean, there's no way I could. This shit only started for me literally months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we got technical, I've really been rapping since November. Like seriously, I never rapped anything I've ever written. You know what I'm saying? And certainly not to a beat. You know what I'm saying? And I never wrote my own rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Never. You know, poetry, everything like that. Yeah. I never took to the bar structure, but singing, other abilities that get displayed at the same time. I think that's all beautiful gifts, and I think that adds on actually to the skill of that said MC. You know, I think it makes him greater. Peace be love. All right. Speaking of MCs, peace to the earth, wisdom infinite. All right, aka Backward Sweetie, my mass star. Okay, peace God. Sean Pooh is going to be epic this year. It'll be my first. Well, because it's your first, though, it will be epic, right? Where you from, though? You coming in from out of town or something like that? Where you coming from? And by the way, you know, people that buy my books, um, if they buy the Peace Course book, he and her truth. Boy, you're gonna have to help me there. I'm horrible with this stuff. You know, where is he or her truth? Ah, Houston, Texas. Okay, you didn't put okay, the unknown name. All right. Okay, that's peace. That's peace. Look forward to seeing you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta remember that you see me, but I ain't never seen I ain't never seen all of you. You know what I'm saying? But I'll definitely be here for show and prove. You know what I'm saying? Um, last couple of show and proves was been most disappointing for me, and I keep it real with you, is that I I don't really. There's nothing I plan for show and prove. Every show and prove I come to, I just get stuck in ciphers where people are asking me to build and shit, and it's beautiful. Catch up with people, beautiful. All I care about is the weather being hot. And I don't want it to be warm. I want it to be hot. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. You know what I mean? I don't want that shit to be. I don't honestly. I don't want no 70-day. You know, I don't want no 70s. I don't. I don't even want low 80s. I want mid 80s and up. You know what I'm saying? Right? I want it hot. You know what I'm saying? All those my best memories of show and prove are always those stifling hot days, though. You know what I'm saying? I keep it real. You know what I mean? Nice and hot, though. You know what I'm saying? I bring my kids and they burn themselves out, and then and then you know, we go home, watch cartoons. You know what I'm saying? King, you said what you did on the album was epic and soulful. Your solo inscription is better than most people's albums. It was poetic, lyrical, with a windmill rope dope in the pockets. Thank you, God. You know, I've done some. You know, I got to give credit. I didn't tell the God this, Rakim Shabazz, but he's the only one that I did an interview with that I know for a fact heard the album. Right? A lot of people haven't really heard the album, so they're informed by the poetry that I've done on a lot of other songs. And there's about 12, 13, 14 songs that I've been featured on. And that's the kind of tempo I have, you know? And what happens is that I don't really rhyme. Even when I write it, I don't stay in the same type of same type of flow. So it's all rhyming. If you like, Never Respect Fake is a good example. That song, the whole thing rhymes, but it's never in one type of segment. It has like speed up, slow downs, all types of stuff, you know? So it has like a poetic thing. And let me tell you something. The way that people perceive you as you first come out, it is hard to disrupt that. You know what I'm saying? You could surprise it, but people don't listen much. And now a lot of people find it difficult to listen because there's so much stuff, you know? And then now we have a lot of the journalists that are really doing it. I'm gonna keep it real. The journalists, I respect a lot, all the people doing it, like writing about this music, but I don't think that they're funneling it very well. They choose things that aren't the best. They don't have analytical skills and shit like that. So I have to listen to very boring interviews. You know what I'm saying? And they just do rankings. Like rankings don't mean anything. There's like 100 albums. So what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? And what happens with rankings though is that the most popular seem to be ranked highest though. So they go best albums for the month, and it happens to be, I'm just making up names. Larry June and Alchemist will be the number one. This would be the number two. And then I'll look though and I say, wait a minute. Like for this month, I'll keep it real. Where is Ralphie Reese? Where's the God? That's the God out in Philly. Where's the God Ralphie Reese though? You know what I'm saying? Right? And then if you're ranking and you say this is the month, we got to do this month. It don't matter about the other months. Then now the time that you had to check over another album is like, yo, nothing right now deserves the concentration of focus this month that this album that came out last month still deserves. We got to get back to that. Got to take it away from the time. And that's these are just problems. I'm ranting here. You know what I'm saying? But but I appreciate that, King. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that a lot, man. Peace to the God, true divine. LT, you said today's supreme mathematics is knowledge build or destroy, all being born to born. I have knowledge that will add on to what is positive and even bring light, reveal reality, and positivity therein. I will send link. If I see y'all, leave your email address here. There's an early release. It will be on all platforms about a month. All right, let me put my email there. Just everybody should have this, but yeah, man. The inscription. Yo, Harmony, I thank you. You pumped that song up so much, though. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. I just tried to make. I told King. I just tried to make a song that I wanted to hear when I didn't have knowledge of self, like something that might push me to get knowledge of self. Like what it is to be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Find a teacher, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And the first verse. Except the longest the breath control part where it's all in E, the letter E. That's from a poem where I did a whole poem of acronyms, and it was all from A to, I think I did it from A to G. You know what I'm saying? I took the E for some reason because it kind of fit, and I reworked it. But that her first verse is mainly original thoughts and ideas that I put together. Well, original at the moment thoughts, because they're all me. I wrote all that, just different times. But the second verse, I extended a metaphor. I made up a metaphor of enlightenment being a record that I wrote on the spot too. But the second parts in there, not second part, but parts in there about Jiddu Krishnamurti and the viewpoints and stuff. That was from a poem that I put on another brother's album. Forgot his name too. He hasn't done music anymore, but yeah, But yeah, that's how a lot of these songs, though, I learned not to have to crowd everything. That I could use less words, say less things, it'll still be all right. But with the inscription, it wasn't like that. I really was trying to say every damn thing I could in that 4+ minute time. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes I won't say when, but I did chase the bar. I was like, I'm getting everything in here. I'll have to do my budget G rap, and chase the bar. All right, that's a good question. By the way, I do see that understanding. You know what I mean? Knowledge, add on what is positive, and even bring light, reveal reality and positivity therein. I see that. Knowledge build. I'm gonna leave this. I'm not gonna answer it now, but I want people to think about it. Knowledge build, I see as the mathematics of creation. They all are, but for me particularly, it highlights a particular part of creation. Creation's overt process. I've always said this. I've said this for years, but I'll explain it later. Yeah, Wisdom Infinite. You said, how does each cipher represent to show and prove? Can you send me the flyer? I saw the flyer somewhere else though. I'm gonna find that. Let me see if I can find it now, because I think I know who shared it. The show and prove is an individual affair. So when you come to this here, it's you and your family, and there's no regions here. Like there's no like this is the Mecca. This is nah. You just find everybody's family, everybody's one, and the only thing that we adhere to is focusing on the children. Everything else isn't really like a thing that we focus on like that. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is not, you know, done like that. Like we don't, you know, they never separate for regions and shit. I don't really care about any of that shit either. Like that, hell no. Somebody's page may have had it, so I'm just trying to look to see if I find it because I didn't save the flyer. You know? All right, I saw one flyer. The God, a 5% connection to God. I had it in there. Minister Freedom. You know, let me see. I will. All right, I found that on IG, so I sent that to you through DM. And then okay, and then there's the other. This is the flyer I was looking for. No, this is not the flyer I was looking for. No shit. Okay. I don't see the show and proof flyer that I had seen before. That's crazy. But I saw a really nice flyer for the tour. You know, when you go on a tour, all the main spots from the school and all this stuff like that, and going through Mount Morris Park. I don't know if they. I never took the tour actually. I mean, I've walked all this, so I didn't need to take the tour. But I don't know if they walk all the way up to Mount Morris Park because Mount Morris Park is a steep climb of lots of stairs to get to the top of the park in Marcus Garvey Park. And this not might not be pointed out there, but that's where me and the gods like we learn kung fu there. That's where we learn kung fu. So it has. I feel like we and the gods like we added history to that too. Like we added on to the tradition. You know what I'm saying by learning kung fu up there. You know. But yeah, I can't seem to find the flyer though. But I'll make a note of saving it so that way when I find it, I can send it to you. I did send you the tour, but the tour is only one. When are they doing that? They do it said like June 10th. So June 10th would be yeah, they're doing it Saturday at the Culture Hour. So but yeah, don't worry about regions. It's not like you gotta find your spot and everything like that. Nah, you just go where you go and if you recognize somebody or you see the tables and they're selling stuff, like just add on. Just ask somebody something, you know what I'm saying? And if you see me, holla, you know what I mean? See the guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna have my glasses on, man. Y'all gotta come up to me, man. I ain't gonna have no glasses on. You know what I'm saying? I put my glasses on, you know, um, if I'm gonna go in the auditorium and watch something, but I take them off, man. I deal with what's in front of me, you know. Oh man, but yeah, I'm writing. This. I'm writing it. I could transcribe it, but if you wrote it to me, Harmony, that'd be great. What you wrote and what you performed for the song. But I'm writing a lyric book for the whole album and analyzing how we did the songs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And they become real tangents and stories and stuff. So just like people read the stuff I write about music, they've become stories about music. So they become these really long essays about each song. You know what I'm saying? So like I think so far, like it's going to be a fun read, you know. And I haven't even added on my thoughts on all of the King Kamal verses because he hasn't sent me all the verses. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna write my thoughts on those verses, particularly. Like I have in general essays for each song, and then line by line. You know, and it's a lot of details. It's a lot of fun, and if you enjoy the album, though, the book is gonna be a lot of fun to read. You know what I'm saying? It really has some stories and stuff, and tangents of insight. You know what I'm saying? Because people be saying shit like, "Yo, I'm gonna tell you something though." More often than not, I have to let people go because I asked them about lyrics in their songs, good people's too, and they're not really that activist. They're not really that builder. They're not really that. They just mentioned it in the song. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case with me and Kamal. You know what I'm saying? Like we really live this. You know what I mean? Like I said on our swords, like we live what we say. So there's a lot of interesting insights to cull, and it's a fun book written in a very I'm writing in a very conversational style, so I think it'll be fun. You know, trying to make it fun like the album. King, you said today's math is knowledge build to destroy as God, Allah, the all in all. It's one duty to, it's our duty. It's one's duty to strengthen others by being an example of strength. At the same time, destroying insecurities. This is difficult to destroy insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Because insecurities confuse themselves with humble analysis. You see, they can seem the same. And when you try to eliminate the insecurities, you could be eliminating the humble analysis and not delve into ego. You know what I'm saying? This is why the knowledge stuff you have to have a working awareness, meaning the knowledge of yourself has to be put into wisdom immediately. You have to be working at this. You know what I'm saying? Constantly studying yourself and how you perceive things. You know what I mean? This is important. You know? That's peace. We got some music. And you know, don't be thinking that I don't care about your work or something like that, because like I said, this whole decade I've been writing a particular series of books that cover all the worthwhile albums of the year. These books are over 400 pages each, right? They're coming out to, and I write them according to my list, and then I add to the list. So that way I don't feel like I'm blowing up. I write to what I have listed already in my list, and then the other albums I've collected. Then then after the list looks nice and green because I highlight them green, then I pull the other stuff in, and then I start writing about the other stuff. You know, because it's like the mail. Like I write, and then another one comes in, and it could be daunting. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give me some time. You know, what I have learned though, and it's skills, is that I've been able to write about music in even less words and say even more. You know, so right, the jizza ethos I've always loved. Half short, twice strong. Right, I've done that too. You know, and that was something that Firstborn Prince used to do too, man. He did not like to hear a build that went on for days. He would just like bomb you. Not like he would bomb you. Not like he would bomb you. And when I would have to build for him, or like build, when he was around, and I just learned to do it like in a succinct way, in such a way where you could frame up a person's question, as opposed to trying to tackle everything you think that they might say at that particular moment. You know, is what you're saying something that works? You know what I'm saying? And if it works, then you don't have to say too much. You know. Knowledge build. It is one's duty to strengthen others. It's profound. I hope I'm reading this right. Shanoli Dimitra Whaley, peace. I see you commenting on a lot of other older, you know, sessions. That's peace. And again, if people have questions, ask me. Okay, I pretty much answer everything. You know what I mean? Mr. G. Well, I guess it is the wrong picture that you have there. I mean, these pictures are so small to me, but it definitely doesn't look three-fourths. Listen, this is my classroom, but it's a digital classroom. I don't know who's coming in here and stuff like that. So, like, as long as you're respectful in what you're saying and everything, it's peace. You know what I mean? G1, you said today's supreme alphabet is ruler rule. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls present controls the past. George Orwell. I see it. I hope you can make it to Wisdom Infinite. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially when life is getting more like the book 1984, Mrs. UN. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Under the community. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go to that now. Thank you for letting everybody know. So, like, you could go to the law school in Mecca. I knew I saw it somewhere, man. I knew I saw it somewhere. You know? It was brought up at the Divine Seat Parliament what we could do to contribute. Sure, what you could do to contribute and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's different though. Yeah, but I thought you meant as far as like the socialization. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know? Yeah. Well, that's peace, King. I look forward to it. You know what I mean? Ah, you know. The Creator created creation from self. The Creator is in His own creation. Soon as been saved. Yeah, right? That has been a crucial build. When did I write that? I wrote that a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I've been teaching that in the class for years. And I always used to draw it to explain to people. I'm a terrible artist. I draw like Earth, a round circle, and Jesus here outside of it, and explain to the youth like we're not there, we're here, we're inside. We create this creation, but we also learn from it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a wonderful cycle. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about that song is that Allah said, and what Jiddu Krishnamurti say, I've always had this concept. I've always taught. This has always been taught in different ways. You know what I'm saying? And at the time I wrote that, Jiddu Krishnamurti was on my mind. He's one of my favorite philosophers, possibly my favorite. Mm-hmm. True self, peace. All right, that's peace. All right, give me 1 minute. Peace to God King. Peace. All right. P4P. I see you guys. Okay. In these times that we build in, one of the main things that we are noticing that is becoming more overt, though, is that it happens in every era with with many things. This particular era, you notice that it has become accepted, this idea that race was invented by whites, the concept, or that race in general is if they don't want to give whites the credit for anything, that race is invented. The the idea of, and again I'm going to say, the idea of race being invented then allows people to say, then I will use this tool the way I see fit, and I will rank things based on our plight and the issues that we go through. And so you see people saying that unless you like that being black is also part of the hells that one goes through. If you don't go through these particular hells, then you are not black. You know, this is a big misnomer. You know what I'm saying? There's a big misnomer, and what do we call hells? You know, like I see a lot of people doing this online. I saw some. I think it was a particular tweet that I saw Wisdom Infinite answer. I saw the God AP the Overlord answer, and it's very emblematic. And that's why I was thinking about it now, because I saw those answers. But race is something that was always exploited. Race being a categorization has always been the case. You know, the same people that say this though are also, they're reading the same books and they're not getting the answers. You know, like they're saying race was invented by whites and this and that, and we're not all black, this and that. But they're quoting Jack Forbes. And if they're reading Jack Forbes, then they should know that the original people, so-called Native American, right? The so-called African, right? Let's just do so-called, so nobody bear witness, right? They were all seen as the same. It was only certain laws and certain things that they could get away with, though, and they had no problem bending these rules because they are all original people. It all worked. You know what I'm saying? And these demarcations are something that has always been exploited. But we keep thinking that because whites exploited this categorization, that they made up the categorization and that they never exploited it before. If they never exploited it before, then what the fuck was Greece doing? You know what I mean? The original people always had the magnetic, to put it simply. They always had higher civilization. They always were the means to greatness. Always. That's what we're learning from ancient civilizations. That's what we should have learned. And we should see that these are all just continuing and carrying on the baton of this devil's civilization. But that's not how it's being seen. You know what I'm saying? And so remember that the knowledge of self now comes into a reality now where it is not the major distinction of blackness in people's minds. In other words, blackness is the life station that you're in. And the general accepted phenotype. It isn't a reality of blackness. It isn't a cultural heritage of blackness. It isn't a properly broader spectrum of phenotype, pheno meaning physical, right? So we don't see that the original people that went everywhere developed varying phenotypes. And that these various phenotypes didn't change that they were original people. It changed what they looked like. You know what I'm saying? I saw, one of the Earth sent me a clip of Ivan Van Sertima. I've seen this clip many times. Ivan Van Sertima is one of my goats out there. I've been reading him since I got knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And He's talking about the white man's genes and how these phenotypes were developed because of the situations that he was in, and they're like, no, no, this and that, and they're disagreeing because he's also showing you that a lot of the phenotypes that develop, right, fit more aquiline nose, you know what I'm saying? More long hair, like he was saying, that longer hair that didn't spiral but went down, protected against the sun and things like that, right? This is what he was saying, and they're saying no, 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 and I was telling her that this is why he's correct, but the things that he's not correct about is not why people are disagreeing today when they see the clip today. You know what I'm saying? They're seeing the clip today because they don't bear witness to anything being remotely original, like connected to the original. Only the phenotype in their own mind. So the hated phenotype features are the only features of the original man. In fact, this is something that Elijah Muhammad used to teach, was particularly not the case. You know what I'm saying? But people ain't read the books. They haven't studied what he said. And when we go through, what was I going to say? When we go through this idea of the different phenotypes, and we go through the different trials and tribulations, the different paths of original people, this is how we make the connective tissue to all the original people. But the scholarship is not there, and it is not being done. Only seeing the plight of oppression through this vantage point. And it sounds ridiculous because when we talk about oppression, this country leads in mental oppression, but it is low, very low in the totem pole of physical oppression. We have to look in the back of our clothing to see where the real oppression goes, where it comes from, who is being physically oppressed. You know what I mean? And for that, it's more of the brown and yellow peoples throughout the world. People think that they're seeing that brown and yellow, right, Asian or Indian have it great. You know what I'm saying? Because they get to come here. These are the select. These are selected. These are the accepted. But these are people coming from populations of millions of people, downtrodden, in physical slavery. But certainly we would judge by today's standards would be slavery by any means. You know what I'm saying? Indonesia, Bangladesh, Southeast Asian countries. Right? I'm just saying that because when we're teaching that the black man is God, the black woman is the earth, we're also teaching about the spectrum of genetics that make all of us original. But we're also saying that the premise for us being black is what we actually are and not what we go through. You take the black American and put them somewhere else, though, and they are in comparison, and they are living a lush life. You know what I'm saying? I live a lush life. Right? People don't know about that song. My man Johnny Hartman. That's a crate there. Johnny Hartman, John Coltrane album. Just write Johnny Hartman, John Coltrane. You know what I'm saying? We got a sophisticated date. You know what I'm saying? There's music for sophisticated dates. You know what I'm saying? You know, when the dates where, you know, we're not playing no damn, you know, Infamous. You know what I'm saying? We're not playing Infamous. You know, right? We're not cracking 40s. You know what I mean? Right? Having conversation. Right? Little romance. Johnny Hartman, John Coltrane, putting you on. All right? But yeah, most of us are living a lush life compared to anyone else in the world, though. It's got its problems, though. Its problems are unique, and the mental slavery is real, and we are forced to be the leaders, and this is our responsibility. We are the leaders because we have the opportunity to know, and all of the oppression, if it harms us, then the rest of the world is doomed. These are facts. To go around saying that we're, you know, anyone in America is the most oppressed, though, is not realistic. Certainly not physical slavery. It's nothing close. There's no hood. There's no hood in America that surpasses anything in Latin America, Southeast Asian countries, and other places, Africa. You want to know oppression? Go find the cobalt mines. You know what I'm saying? In the Congo, right now, where they're making all these batteries that are making our stuff go. That's suppression. There's a book. I'll tell you the book I'm reading. You all know I read lots of books at the same time. Slow to come up here. Boy, it's loading really slow. Come on. All right. Let's see. So it's from this author named Siddharth Kara. It's called Cobalt Red: How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives. The way the book starts, it's in an open pit, really an open pit, and they're just with crude tools digging for cobalt. And there's a dead child there. It's just child is just there, dead. And they're just continuing to work. Because if they don't, they'll be dead too. Their other children will be dead. This is the reality. And I see these oppression Olympics and shit like that. It's the most 85-ery thing I can think of. You know what I'm saying? The most 85-ery thing. G1, you said, I meant to ask you last week, what would you say is the originator of Dembow? I don't know, because if I do the research, I was kidding. I do know, and when I get a time machine, I'm going to go back. It's going to be Miles Tyson. I have to destroy him. Miles Tyson, he's got a family. He's got kids and shit. But we have to destroy the Dembow before it happens. It's the only way. It's the only way. The Dembow beat. It's the beat. And it's just, reggaeton is not complex. It's a simple beat jack. And it's a beat jack because they saw what more of a dance hall style that El General was doing in Panama. But the reggaeton doesn't come from that only. The reggaeton comes from, it gets pushed because the MCs that are rhyming in Spanish in Puerto Rico are not being supported by the producers. The producers don't take the time to learn how to make beats. And so they take the simple ethos of the Caribbean style genres. What are the ethos? It's always about the party. It has to have a certain poly melody, right? Polyrhythms, 4 melody, dance. And they keep simplifying. And the Dembow is where it's at. They did not know how to use the instruments. The early raps like Playero and other raps, rapidy raps, they were simple raps, but the beats, they didn't have the complexity of the beats. And it makes sense sometimes because it was difficult to make hip hop music back then. It wasn't an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? And it just didn't travel there like that. It got commercialized before it could develop. You know what I'm saying? It popped out using a simple model of what they thought would sell. And since the island is so known for party styles, right? Dance styles, they're seeing their competition as salsa, merengue, bachata, which was in its infant forms. It didn't really peak until the 90s as far as recorded music. But other stuff, Remember, salsa was so much deeper and complex. But by the 80s, it became more romantic based lyrically, like just love songs. So the structure became very simplified. You want to hear a good version of the simplified version of salsa, quality version, el gran combo, right? Right? Grand, G-R-A-N, combo. Right? Say gringo style, el gran combo, right? But people like Frankie Ruiz and others, like there's good stuff, but it's just not complex musically or lyrically. So stylistically, it doesn't have soneos, it doesn't have rhymes, it doesn't have any of that clever shit, you know. Just love songs to the nice salsa rhythm, But in the '80s, that happened, but it still got eclipsed by merengue, Dominican merengue, which was the most popular dance music. When I was a kid, it was all Puerto Rican. There was no Dominicans around, and yet that's all that we was dancing to was merengue in our grandma's parties and shit. Like, uh, the salsa was being played while you weren't doing anything. Like you played it daily, but you danced to merengue. You know what I'm saying? Especially the youth, because it's so much easier. You know what I'm saying? It's so much easier. It's such a simple style of dance to it, which is great. You know what I'm saying? But I think it left people's mind that you wouldn't sell unless you simplify and make it more danceable, more palatable. And so reggaeton's topic, party, party, hose, and nothing else. There's not even battle bars. There's very few battle bars when you go into reggaeton. And I'm talking about battles like I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm talking about like real punchlines, not stupid shit. And then the dembow beats get embraced because they're not digging, they're not making drums, they're not programming drums. You know what I'm saying? So use a dembow beat, at best alter it, equalize it different, give it a different, maybe up the tempo, down, lower the tempo, alter the tempo as a crescendo, as a lead in, but it always goes into that anyway, and then you're just gonna throw shitty music on top of it. It's not like they dug for music that goes on top of it either. You know what I mean? It's the most simplified tropical. You know what I mean? But have I trashed this enough? Let's see. And I didn't finish reading this though. Shabba Ranks, yeah, I forgot the name of the Shabba Ranks song, yeah, but that beat does come from there, yeah. But even Shabba didn't use it like every single day. You know what I'm saying? All right. Batinho, peace God. Kasim, peace to God. All right. The Dembo. All right. Scholars about reggaeton have used my writings to go against it, things like that. But no matter what they say, reggaeton ruined the possibility of the youth being able to express themselves and say anything. That's the difference. That's what makes it not hip hop. The format does not allow you to say anything. It allows you to say something again and again. It's different. It makes it as useful as rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? It could be a way that you exude your emotion and express your emotion. But that's not what hip hop was doing. Hip hop was doing more than just expressing emotion. It was expressing the ideas behind particular emotions and the possibility that you could say anything. That's why I have on my Mount Rushmore, I have the two spectrums of Chuck D and Cool G Rap, not just for their technical skill and their vocal abilities, but also the content, the extremes of content. Rakim and KRS-One, the extremes of songwriting and song structure and the knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? That's my Mount Rushmore, by the way. But reggaeton does not have that. You know what I'm saying? It had artists that had the potential to do that, but confined by the musical limitations, never got to really do that. i.e., Tego Calderon. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really, you know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to applaud it, the Bad Bunnies and things like that, because they use like dialect from the country to say things. That's that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It's about the content because you say you do a shitty song with shitty content in your own dialect, though. It's not. That's hardly rebellious or revolutionary in the context of having seen hip hop for over what 50 years, right? Literally, yeah, 50 years. Hey, ain't that some shit? Right? All right, Grand Rapids. That's where my brother Bronze is at. All right. Any questions that you have? It's all peace. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, the song is Dembo, right? Dembo, yeah, from Shaba. Yeah, the song is called Dembo, yeah. You know, maybe may not have to kill. I don't want to kill Shaba, but if we go back in time, we're gonna have to. He's Miles Dyson. You know what I'm saying? No, but you know what? Shaba Ranks isn't Miles Dyson from Terminator 2 because if we stop Shaba from making Dembo, it's not him. We have to stop. We have to stop. We have to stop that spick that uses Dembo and needs that easy break. You know? I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be very hard. How do we find that first crap producer? You know what? Maybe we get Timbaland's help. You know, since Timbaland likes to, look at dead things and revive dead. You know what I'm saying? And mine things that don't belong to him. Then, right? Maybe we need his help. Maybe we need to recruit him. You know what I'm saying? Right? Since he has a knack for and a desire to take things that are already gone and disrupt the graves and make crap. Can you imagine? We don't need you to take, legends. We don't need Big Pun on one of your stupid ass beats with, you know, abnormally skipped production and circus horns. You know what I'm saying? Right? Unbelievable. See, but General though, I mean, I don't know if they're biting the rhythm and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? As far as vocal pattern, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. You know. I mean, look, I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? Ed General's music though was pop too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see him as like the most glorious innovator ever either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like, oh, it's really from Ed General. Like we have to really salute the great pioneers. Like his shit was pop too, and I had that album. You know what I'm saying? And that album sucks. You know, and that album is filled with pop filth and a lot of shitty things done. And these artists, they said they're the first one, but their album had the same song again and again and again. So it's like he had nothing in their albums too. Please don't make it out like Ray Charles, or something like that. Like he wasn't the innovator that people are making him out to be either. You know what I'm saying? The first to pop, that's just the way it goes. The first to pop ain't always the first to blow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I hear that too though, especially people from Panama. Like, and I was like, did you listen to the whole album? Like, you know, right? Yeah. People forget though. If I don't like it though, doesn't mean I didn't hear it though. I was hearing everything. Okay, I think all right. So we are. It's about 7:12. I am going to be here until 8. Okay, I will be here till 8 o'clock. Um, absolutely, I'll be here till 8 o'clock, and then I will leave. Especially because there's no students here today, right? So I want to answer everything that everybody has. You know what I'm saying? Assignment, interesting assignment. And again, there's no due dates. You do it when you have. So I'm gonna pile stuff on. Exercise, exercise for you all to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, what is it? Find the things that you're interested in, subjects, ideas, and have we done? Have we really done enough research? You know what I'm saying? Have we really done extreme research in the things that we say that we know about? You know what I'm saying? Like, have we tested the limits of knowledge? Have we tested the limits of usefulness of things? You know what I'm saying? Personal gauge marks. How we gauge ourselves, how we gauge the things that we're doing. These are all important. You know what I'm saying? But the assignment that I was thinking of, right? Um, is the verbal assignment, vocal assignment, the one that you do in your mind. It's a mind test. And I said this classes before, but it's really crucial, especially for everybody here that is learning and they're on their own. There are not that many people around. I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming with different states out in New York, you know, it's not as easy access as let's say it would be for me. Do the exercise where you think of the person that would be least likely to bear witness that you are God or earth. And make this mental thought experiment of a conversation with that person, and you answer every single thing that they say to you that would be against and they say your reality that you are God or earth. And it's a thought experiment, so you're thinking of both. What your claim, their counterclaim, your proof of that claim, and then their counter to that proof. And you keep doing this thought experiment as deep as you can go, as deep as you can go. Okay, you don't, you know, you don't stop it. You know what I'm saying? You don't stop it. You keep going, right? And this is, I'm glad that you do it, Kasim. This is good practice. You need to do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? I learned this when people started to write essays against me when I was writing my column in college. And I said, listen, I don't want to be answering this fool forever. So what would he say if I answered him? And then those were his counters. And I said, I'm going to counter the possibility of him saying certain things back at me and answer to that even before he gets to it. And this is what I do, you know. And I started to do that exercise. And I had the real conversation with my parents, you know, at separate times where I was showing and proving who I was and stuff. And in real life, it completely failed, especially with my father. Like it didn't even make sense. Like none of it, you know, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But in my mind, I had the right answers. A lot of times you can have the right answers. And in your life, though, you're going to have to be comfortable with having the right and exact answer and no one to field it, to receive it. That's just something you have to get used to. Okay? If you were to teach in my position here, if you can't get used to that, you wouldn't be able to last here. You know what I'm saying? You really, really wouldn't. So it's something that this classroom becomes a microcosm of what would happen in real life. Because when you go out there to the world, you're not gonna be able to do all that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get the answers that you want to hear. You're not gonna get people are not gonna receive that, and you have to be okay with that. You have to know that sometimes you're answering someone and you're answering for the people that are listening around you. There are countless times where I would build in the streets to 85s that I was talking to, but knew that youth were listening. And then I'm talking to him, and then the youth is here, but he doesn't know that I know that they're there, but I'm building, and then they're over here, and I'm building, but I'm saying certain things that I know they're going to hear, and it sticks with them. And I may never know if it really manifests something, but that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? and it means something. It means something. It has its validity, and it'll also keep your sanity by realizing that, listen, it's okay. Many people can't handle that, and they become less of a poor righteous teacher. I don't even know what that means, or they'll just be this but not share it. And it's like you have to find, you ought to respect if you see yourself as God on earth and you go live this, you ought to respect it enough, in my sense, to find some type of way to share it to the world, some type of way to share a portion, to share an idea, to share its presentation of it, to exude it somehow overtly. The world deserves that. The world needs that. The Father didn't teach us and focus on this so much, though. He knew that the world needed this. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many times, like, when people talk about sacrifice, like, I can't tell if you know me, I really am a traveling writer editor. I go from job to job. I struggle. I go through a lot. But there's so many jobs where I've sacrificed for this classroom and for other things that people have no idea about. You know what I'm saying? People have no idea. If you think that it's easy to teach a class at the same time, same evening for 23 years, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And I still get people telling me to be more selfish for myself or be this for that. But I was selfish getting this. I was the one that went out and got this regardless of what. You see? And this is the selfless act part. This is the part where I get to share it. Because I was ruthless. I was ruthless to get this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care what my family thought. I didn't care what relatives thought. I didn't care what friends thought. I didn't care what the women I was dealing with thought. This is what I'm going to go get. This is what I'm going to be. This is who I am. And it is right. It is exact. It's what I'm going to share. You know what I'm saying? And so there has to be work done for your sanity. Simply put. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. It's so, it's, I just saw the shit emoji, toilet paper, toilet bowl. It's so disappointing because I love reggae. I love reggae. I love roots reggae. I love lovers rock. I really love lovers rock. By the way, if you have Amazon Prime, right, there's a movie called Lovers Rock. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. Right? Um, check that out. Check that out. It was part of a series of movies, and I didn't see all of them. I think I only saw two of them, including Lovers Rock. I only saw two of them. But a movie from 2020, directed by Steve McQueen, and it's a beautiful movie. I loved it. I don't know where it's available now. That's why I'm looking. I don't even know if it's not even on Amazon Prime anymore. So. Yeah, I don't even see it anywhere here. That's too bad. But it really was a beautiful movie. But yeah, I love Lovers Rock. Then Gregory Isaacs, Dennis Brown, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a shame that you know that Puerto Rico really didn't honor reggae the way they should have. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have done so much better with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have more liked it if they, you know what I'm saying? If they had done something they like the ethos of salsa, where you merge different styles together for one new one, or merge it into a blend, because salsa blends lots of different genres into it, as well as having the jazz ethos of improvisation. That's what makes it different from Cuban son. But it would have been lovely if they would have had actual hip hop and merged a lot of the polyrhythms of the island, salsa, bomba, plena. Like, it could have been something so good, and they could have done something so amazing. You know, the beauty of roots reggae, and like these dance hall roots blends, like what Garnet Silk became. You know, like it could have been so great. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, that's right. Peace to God, Malik. She does have an album called Lovers Rock, because Lovers Rock is like the lovers genre of a lot of roots reggae. Like, it became Lovers Rock. Like, that's the name for that. And they were playing out in Britain as well, because there's a big Jamaican population out there. And Sade's music has a lot of reggae ethos in it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Lovers Rock vibes. So, like, you know, it fits. Anything she does is classic. You know what I'm saying? But by the way, if you're a collector, you gotta have every Sade album. You can't just have one. It's unacceptable. All right. Really, the documentary? Let me know. I'd love to see it though. Is it if it's on YouTube, or if there's a link? I'd love to see it. You know what I mean? I have a lot of good books on the history of reggae. If anybody's interested, you know what I mean? There's one I'm reading now. I read one from this author before too, but that one is not in. It's actually out of print, so I couldn't even share that one. I only have the book. But man, my books, Google Books keeps loading slow. Um, there's another good one he has that I just started reading. I didn't even get deep into it, but it's going to be the next book about reggae music I read. What is it? Should be open here somewhere. I know I opened it recently. Bass Culture, When Reggae Was King, by Lloyd Bradley. Very good writer. Very, very good historical music writer. Lloyd Bradley. And Bass Culture is the one that just starting to read. I don't really. But I would love to see that documentary. You know what I mean? All right. There are certain books that I read slow sometimes, because I'll read music books though, and then I'll take out the music and I'll be listening to what they're referring to and all that kind of stuff. And it just becomes this fun thing. You know what I'm saying? But as far as reading books at the same time, I'm always reading different books about different genres at all times. You know, so like there's a current blues book I'm reading. Soul, most of the soul books I'm reading are autobiographies, like Aretha Franklin's right now, and Alicia Keys. I'm reading Alicia Keys, which is pretty interesting actually. You know, I've learned more than I thought I would. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to read something fast, and I like Alicia Keys' music. I didn't know I would learn this much, and that you would be that insightful. So it's really a good read. I'm almost finished with that. But whatchamacallit? Salsa, I have a book I'm reading by Juan Flores, who I worked with years ago. You know, he passed away. Uh, yeah, every genre, man. Obviously, reggae, I just said. Hip hop, there's always somebody I'm reading. I'm always reading these biographies. There's a lot of big hip hop books. Jay Dilla's book, I'm reading. Dan Charnas, though, who he was super grafted in his history, the business of hip hop, which I hated. But I read that Juggernaut book just to know why I hated it. But I'm reading his. I started his Dilla book too, which is very big. You know, what else? But always reading something about different kinds of music. You know, how you get the palette. Once you jazz, of course. I'm reading Duke Ellington's autobiography right now. Not autobiography, biography. It's a big one too. I'm about halfway on that one too. But and the big jazz book, just jazz, from Ted Jiwa, great writer, um, great historical writer. Um, but yeah, you always got to be reading, especially about the things that you love and you study. Mhm. Ooh, Sade and Anita. Oh man, you cannot do better than that. Um, that's a long list. That's a long list of reggae. I would say sometimes it's not the albums I would listen to, but the individuals. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you want to know lovers rock, I guess a simple way to start lovers rock is go to with Gregory Isaacs. You know what I'm saying? Dennis Brown. You'll hear some of the samples like that Nas and Damian Marley used. Um, is that there's eras of reggae? You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know who would we start with ska though. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but if you want to go loose reggae, you definitely got to start with like you got to start with Bob Marley, some Burning Spear. I personally love Black Uhuru. I love that group. I love that group. I really do. You know what I mean? And it's funny because my favorite song of theirs is Spongy Reggae, and I didn't know that was played in a Cosby Show episode, and I remember that Cosby Show episode, seeing it as a kid. So I don't know, maybe that became my favorite song because I heard it as a kid. You know what I'm saying? In that episode. But yeah, reggae's vast. There's lots of guys, you know what I'm saying? It was even in this classroom years ago that I forget who it was. One of y'all put me onto Garnet Silk because I only heard about Garnet Silk. I didn't have a good Garnet Silk collection. And he has become a top three favorite up there with Bob and Black Uhuru. And Gregory Isaacs. I love Garnet Silk. You know what I'm saying? I think he's essential. I think he's essential. Um, I'm opening up a little list of artists I have though, because it's hard to keep track of what you have just by putting them in the. You gotta have a list. Let's see. Trying to think of who will lead you to other people. You go into the dance hall roots, like where they're really building of the era of the '90s and stuff. Obviously you want to do Capleton, Buju Banton, shit like that. You know, you definitely want to study things that anyone that Lee Scratch Perry. Go to Lee Scratch Perry, because if you follow his productions, it'll open you up into the whole world. That's why sometimes a producer will get you into the whole world. You know, you'll get into the Upsetters, you'll get into Max Romeo, you'll get into a whole bunch of stuff through that. Right? Just like if I just say Bob Marley, that'll lead you into Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't have to say it. But a lot of great groups. Burning Spear, I mentioned Black Uhuru, I mentioned Culture. It's a group called Culture. Great. The 2/7 Clash, right? The 2/7 Clash. Tough shit. You want something more of an earlier, like ska, like I guess what's a nice group, and they'll be familiar to you, so it's a good way. They're a great group. And they be playing. I hate when they do this, but they be playing their songs in commercials and shit for like beer and shit. You could go with Toots and the Maytals. You know what I'm saying? They definitely would give you a good idea of ska, and it would sound more R&B-ish to you because that was the influences early on with reggae. You know what I'm saying? That's the root, that's the roots. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely the roots. Buta Baruka. Word. I gotta do the knowledge there. That's peace. You know what's interesting, God? Piece of the God. Powerful, man. You know what's interesting? I was building with my brother, Power Rule, Marcano, leftovers, and he was telling me that somebody was telling him that they see me as the Allen Ginsberg of this era. You know, I like Allen Ginsberg. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny. I've never been compared to a white person before. You know, but at least it's like more of a rebellious, a good writer. He got some nice shit. He was rebellious. Right? Yeah. It's got like my ska collection is probably the thinnest out of my reggae collection. Because you start getting addicted to what you like, and that root sound, the lovers rock. That's what I'm always getting into. You know what I'm saying? But I got a lot of Barrington Levy albums, by the way, and I haven't seen that much reggae live. It's less than a handful, but I saw Barrington Levy live. I forgot where it was. I was at though. He was crazy. Um, I also saw Steel Pulse live. They're dope too, by the way. I can't think. There was another reggae I saw. Sly and Robbie, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I tell you Lee Scratch Perry, then hopefully you get into the productions and you get into Augustus Pablo and you get into Sly and Robbie, like you said, like those producers, man. Because a lot of times I just play a lot of dub and just, right? I mean, this is why I like hip hop production. I know that they learned something from what Jamaicans were doing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because what he was doing was genius. You know what I'm saying? You know what? I heard about that. What? I gotta look that up. The Lee Scratch. Thank you, Julep TV. I gotta look that up. I would love to watch that. I heard of that. I didn't know where it was. And then I just, I left my mind because I'm really a book collector. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, you know. Yeah, see, when you look it up, it's not really able to be found anywhere where to watch it though. Or I missed it when it came out. So yeah, I would love to watch that. Lee Scratch Perry was a real genius. You know. Yeah, he's one of the greatest producers ever of any type of genre. You know. Yeah, see, Sim, I know you wanted Sim. See, Sim is the only names I had. You know. Oh, so I'm gonna have to do the knowledge on Muta. That's dope. That is dope. Mhm. Man, Barrington got too many songs, man. But yeah, I'm big on it. Hey, that's peace, God. That's peace. See, I haven't seen these documentaries. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see that, God. Yeah, I would love to see those builds. Yeah, that's peace. That's peace. You know. Out of all the genres, though, reggae is the one that I'm still like uncovering legends. You know what I'm saying? I would say like when it comes to like soul music, jazz, even I have to dig heavy to get like really dope shit. You know what I'm saying? Like or like legend level stuff. You know. Now I just fill out like it's just getting crazy. Crazy crates. But reggae, I'm still uncovering masters, legends. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Steel Pulse, man, they gave it a show, man. Steel Pulse, I saw them when they did a free show down. I think it was Battery Park or one of the parks downtown over here, and it was great music, and it was hilarious to watch white folks be offbeat. Man, oh my goodness! And sometimes they move like they might hurt themselves. Like your neck shouldn't move that way. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I was telling the earth. Like people don't know. Like helping white folk groove to music. Like in general, don't white people hear this and go, "Oh, but I'm white and I know how to dance." Like you're an anomaly. Like you're not. You're special if you can dance. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if we can't dance, that's like what? And it's like for example, in Cuba, when song gets popularized and they share it to the white man because they're all taking root in there. That's what mambo is. Mambo is basically the more commercialized song, and cha 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 is literally the timing pattern. So clave is like I even got this though, so I could do clave. So you slow it down. It's cha 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 cha, and they didn't know how to, you know what I mean? No man, you know. So they actually had to sound it out into a song thing, and it's just he still can't do it, you know. They do the conga line instead, you know. You know what's crazy? I saw rockers a long time ago, but now that I know more about the music, I know that I would get more out of rockers watching it now. You know what I'm saying? See, that's something I have to read. I saw rockers back like in the 90s, but I didn't really have much of a collection, but like Bob and some other people. So I didn't really catch the whole vibe. Like I didn't really catch all of it. You know what I'm saying? And my ear wasn't detailed enough to, sometimes you have to have a more distinguished ear to hear how ill it is what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And in the 90s, even though I'm writing in magazines about hip hop, I actually am not even close to having that ear for music in general to really know why a hip hop song is great, let alone other genres. You know what I'm saying? I'm still just knowing what makes a great record, but not necessarily the nuance of excellent records that are continuously done. You know what I'm saying? Right? But yeah. So 9:30, you said no questions. Definitely exchange a few links of YouTube with the AI like and him adding on. He definitely influences growth, awareness, development of where we are now. That's peace. I like that. That's peace. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put that in my notes so to watch rockers again. Yeah, I appreciate everybody adding on. Though. See, this is what happens though. And then I go down a wonderful reggae rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? And And by the way, the movie I said about Lovers Rock movie from 2020, that is not a documentary. That's like a beautiful romance movie, and it's just a house party that they go to out there, and I think it's in Britain if I remember. And it's just done so dope. You know what I'm saying? It's just done dope. It's a great drama, and the music is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing black love, seeing the original people like groove and not just be savage shit. Like it just is real people. Like, and it didn't have to be, just gats and guns and violence and shit. Like just real. You know what I'm saying? But it was real. Like so it was nice. You know what I'm saying? Nice switch up, flip up. Yeah, this piece. I appreciate this 793 because I'm gonna go back and write down the names that are new to me too. You know, um, what makes an excellent record in your opinion? The reason I write different is because it's what makes a great record for me is different than what is acceptable. Nice add on. The harder they come. I love that movie, and the song is, you know, too. That soundtrack is great. Too Many Rivers to Cross. Song is crazy. But what makes a great record to me has always been different than other people. People think that a record that's great to me is something that appeals and stuff. I think in a more relationship with the individual. Right? First, people won't know what makes a great record unless they understand the expression. I don't care what it is. I don't consider a music a language that's universal. I consider music a language like any other language. Some people can speak it, some people can't. So in this case, most people listen to the language and most people cannot speak it and they don't understand it and it's in the periphery. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times music as a language is likened more to seeing a woman from another country that is beautiful and she's just talking and she sounds beautiful to you. You have no idea what the hell she's saying. And on a deeper level, you can't really do anything with her on that level. But you sure got other ideas. See? That's what music, the language is to most people. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear and I say something is an excellent record, the standards, the depth of musicianship is what I need to know about it or expect out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a depth of musicianship, like a skill of playing. You know what I'm saying? People looking for melody or rhythm and stuff. I'm looking for an expertise in whatever they present to me in the song. Not an expertise that it needs a rhythm, it needs a melody. That's for people that sell the music. But thankfully, my work is not in judging music, whether it should be sold or not. You know what I'm saying? My judgment is whether the record is quality, whether it is good, you know? And for that, it's the skill level, the unique, how unique it is. You know what I'm saying? What type of charisma, what type of persona, whatever is exuded. Is it really exuded? What's being shown there? You know what I'm saying? Right? With certain genres, like for example, salsa, though, is the music cohesively blending together, even though, and is it chaotic in its cohesiveness, right? Because something you're looking for in a lot of black music, right? Even rock, right? Rock's a good example. If you're looking for a cohesiveness in the chaos, you know what I'm saying? Right? Organized confusion, right? But that's crazy. Peter Tosh Arise. You know what I mean? Man, I haven't heard. I got a nice Peter. Peace, God. I got a nice Peter Tosh collection. I don't know if I have Arise in there. I have like about 6 or 7 of his albums. Yeah, see, I'm gonna add that on my thing. Um, all right. Yeah, I do have quite a bit of albums of his, but I don't have that song. Kizar Quako. Peace. You said I always like when that Rastafari man gave us a little bit of peace and he didn't mash up the snobby guy. Truth Rules. You said I would like to add on in our supreme mathematics. Today's degree is to know how to build. How do you see that? Why is it to know how to build? You see, this is your interpretation because you have knowledge build. You know, I had said that I would say why I see knowledge build as creation is because everything that is built, everything that is created is an application of the knowledge of building. And when you knowledge the build, right, something is always born. You know what I'm saying? Something is created because the knowledge to the build is the awareness of the build itself. And all creation needs that last ingredient, that ingredient of awareness attached to it. And so I've always seen knowledge build at, you know, all being born and born, like when you do, especially like that. as a great signifier of creation itself. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it's more abstract thought, but this is what I meant before when I was saying I was going to say that. You know, I do see what you're saying, truthful. I'm just adding on and adding more questions to it so we can flesh it out even more. G1, you said before you leave, I want you to let us know who was your pick for the fight between Lomachenko and Haney. No one. I don't really follow boxing and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what's funny? Boxing, MMA, I don't learn anything from them. I learn very little. I appreciate boxers and shit like that, but I don't really follow boxing. I don't follow MMA. You know what I'm saying? I think this as a sport, the individual fighters I have lots of respect for, and I study. And if I see clips and if I look for clips every now and then, I'll start to learn things from them as best as I can because these are superstars, great fighters. But as far as following the sport, I never had an urge to do that. I became a martial artist because I hate violence, though. And I think one of the best ways to stop violence is to be able to violently stop it. You know what I'm saying? And I still have a problem watching original people just fight each other for pay. You know what I'm saying? So even though the sport is great and everything like that, that's one of my problems with it. So it's not something that I shy away from. It's just not something that I just never end up checking for. You know what I'm saying? It just never ends up being a thing I check for. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's a dope bar. Arise, black man, and all that stuff. Wow. Peace, God. I like that quote. But yeah, that's my reasoning. I don't know. Not everybody's going to agree with that reasoning, but that's me. And I guess that's how I reconcile what I'm training for, how I train and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't, and like if we see brutality against someone else, though, I don't always laud that. I'm not always impressed by that. You know what I'm saying? It's just me. Edward Urena, I see where you're coming with the question. It's just a little so awkwardly stated. I don't know, you know. But also too, like a lot of times the fights, I don't really go search them out because of that. Like I just don't think about it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, though, there's so many things I'm doing though. I tell you, that's one thing about being a Mets fan. It's really the only team I follow like that because other sports I just follow players. Though. But when it comes to the Mets and stuff, they do so badly usually that I don't watch that much sports. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, I spend my time doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And plus, though, by the way, I don't learn much from MMA. Those fighters are too big. They fight too sloppy, and they're too athletic. So they get away with being on that. They get away with having bad technique. You know, and the way a lot of the it's really like kickboxing, and a lot of the styles that they used to kick though are they don't have longevity written on them. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't throw my bones out when I fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't just throw my bones loosely like to smash things. Like that's not how you know. So it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? The mentality that I have when I train and shit. You know. And even still, if you see me train, it's extremely aggressive. It's you know what I'm saying. You learn to train and fight all the way to the end, and you can assume what that end is. You know. But as far as sport and stuff like that, I'm very weary of seeking it out. You know what I'm saying? If somebody invites me to go watch a fight with them, I'm all in, man. I go do the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? because it's the techniques, the skill sets, all of that, man. It's great, you know. But to seek it out regularly, I just don't have a habit of not doing it. You know what I mean? That's Peace. I definitely got to watch Rappers again. I know I would. I realize I would appreciate it so much more. So much more. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know if I missed everything. I hope I answered that question. I don't know who was asking me that question about the fights and stuff. G1. I hope I answered that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I hate too? This has nothing to do with my choices of not really checking for that. But what I hate too is I hate when there's fights between black and brown and it becomes a reason for people to laud one over the other. Like this is proof that the brown is greater. This is proof that the black is greater. Like I can't stand that shit. You know what I mean? I can't stand that shit. You know? But other than that, though, I don't mind checking out a fight. I usually like to see the clips, see what happened. You know what I'm saying? If it's on the timeline and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? I'll indulge in the clips and shit. You know? But yeah, that's how I see it. You know? Unless anybody has any questions, though, we're pretty close to getting out of here. So if anybody has any questions about anything, I will take the time to build. Okay, so don't think that you can't ask me a question now, and I won't stay a little longer and build. All right. All right. All right. Everybody's quiet. Maybe they're catching up to what I'm saying. Um, by the way, the other assignment I have gotten a few about Yakub. If Yakub is no good, then and making a devil is no good, then what would you do instead of that? And if not, why do you think that that's what should have been done and that we just had to go through this? Like, there's no wrong answer, right answer with this. You know what I'm saying? But it's important to speculate this outright. You know. Right? Okay, so if anybody has any questions, let me know. It's also to think about the principles that are in the math. Knowledge build, ruler. Always think about these alphabets. What type of ruler would you be? What is the type of ruler? Do you take the time to analyze rulership that you see around you as far as not just what you don't like about it, but what would you do differently with it? You know what I mean? These are the ways that we look at things, right? The ways that we look at things. All right. All right. I see it's quiet here in the chat. Let me put my email just in case people forgot. Anything that they want. You know what's funny? I don't know what song it's talking about, but there's somebody that really thought that I was in a video with Q-Tip and Mary J. Blige. Did I see somebody ask that in here? Like I was not. I've never met them. So I don't know. It's funny. I know, I people don't think I look like Bobito. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. I know they're not saying I look like Bobito. I look like Mario Garcia, but damn, that is not me. That's funny. Oh man. All right. I will let you all go in your silence. I will send you off to study. That's where I'm going as well. Okay. All right. In the standard ruler, we have 12 inches. I see that as before you get to build. Okay, I'm waiting for that thought to finish. Before you get to build, you must exercise that wisdom. Mm, I mean, ruler means different things. When you say ruler, the ruler in supreme mathematics is not referring to the ruler measurement ruler. You know, that's not what it's referring to. You know, it's definitely not referring to that. You know, right? It's referring to rulership, the idea of ruling, the idea of rule itself or the ruler, the emphasis on the individual or the concept of rule itself, ruling. Okay, so it's based on rulership. Okay, it is not based on the ruler. Okay, especially since that is not universal anyway. Right, the metric system is the universal, so that wouldn't be. Ah, okay. Yeah, I was totally off with that. Okay, I didn't know. I was like, what's that have to do with me? I don't know. Okay. All right. All right. I would let everybody go. All right. So now we got stuff to study and we have some great reggae music to research and stuff. All right. There's a lot of names we threw out there, a lot of names I'm interested in doing analysis to. So it's going to be a great weekend. New sounds, great sounds, classic sounds. All right. So I'm going to let everybody go. All right. Head back to Savior's Island. All right. Peace.